Welcome to this session with Send and You on EHCP annual reviews. Send and You provide the special educational needs and disability information, advice and support service for families in Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. This session is aimed at those with an EHCP or their parents and carers to help you understand the annual review process. We will share information set out in the Children and Families Act to help you feel confident about preparing for the annual review meeting and understand the importance of your child's outcomes for their EHCP. The annual review is a review of the EHC plan, the whole plan, and not a general meeting about your child or young person's progress. It is a statutory process that must happen within the first 12 months of first issuing the EHCP and then every 12 months following, to check that what is written in the plan is still valid and appropriate for your child. At the end of the process, each year, you will have the right to appeal any decision the local authority makes as a result of the review. The annual review is the opportunity for those people involved in your child or young person's education to discuss what progress has been made towards the outcomes set in the EHC plan, together with you and ideally your child or young person. To review whether the support currently is in place is working well and to agree any new outcomes needed. This process must be completed by the 15th of February in the year of a phased transfer, which is moving from one stage of education to another, such as nursery to school or primary to secondary. For those moving from secondary to post-16, the process must be completed by the 31st of March in the year of the move. This means that an annual review meeting must have been held and any revised plan naming the setting for the following academic year must have been issued prior to those dates. The local authority has responsibility for ensuring the review happens. As part of the review, there will be an annual review meeting. In practice, they can delegate the organisation of the meeting to the school or setting where the meeting will usually take place. The school or setting must seek advice and information about the child or young person from all those invited to attend and circulate responses at least 2 weeks before the date of the meeting. Everyone involved with the support listed in the EHCP should be invited to attend the meeting, including any health or social care providers, parents and carers, and the child or young person where appropriate. They may not be able to attend, but should still send in progress reports and cooperate with the local authority where requested. The law is clear that annual reviews must be undertaken in partnership with the child and their parent and must take into account their views, wishes, and feelings. It is important the child or young person is able to give their views about the EHC plan in a way that is meaningful to them. Schools or local authorities should arrange for the meeting to be person-centred. This means that the focus of the review is on the child or young person and to help them to be able to participate as fully as possible in the process. It may be that the child can go to the meeting or the setting should seek to gather their views in advance of the meeting. Where a child or young person would like independent assistance to prepare their views in advance of a meeting, Send and You can help. Parents may wish to check with the school whether they are seeking to gather the child's views, but if not, or in addition, parents can support their child to think about and note down what has been going well and not so well at the school, what they hope to achieve next year and in the future. Where a child is unable to express their views verbally, discuss with the school the best way for their views to be included in the review meeting. Sharing worries, concerns, hopes and wishes in a clear, constructive way can help develop outcomes in a plan. The school must invite parents and carers to share their views, wishes and feelings in advance of the annual review meeting as part of the process. Parents may wish to consider how they feel things at the setting are going, whether the child's needs in section B remain the same, or are there any new or emerging areas of concern that parents would like the school to assess. Where there are health or social care needs, consider whether these are still the same. The focus must be on reviewing the outcomes in section E of the plan, so it can be helpful to look back at the EHCP before the meeting and consider whether you feel these have been met. Please also bear in mind that if a move to another school is being considered, parents can only request this during the annual review process and should clearly set out why the request is being made and provide details of how the current needs are not being met. For those in Year 6, do also consider what may need to be in place in order to support a good transition to secondary school. If you have a school in mind, the annual review in Year 6 is the time to ask for this. As we have said, reviews must focus on the child or young person's progress towards achieving the outcomes specified in the EHC plan. An outcome can be defined as the benefit or difference made to an individual as a result of an intervention. Any concerns about whether the outcomes remain achievable, as well as any suggestions for new outcomes for the next year, should all be considered. Just to recap quickly, the annual review meeting should be a discussion around whether the outcomes in the EHCP have been achieved. If they have not, there should be a discussion around what might need to change or what additional support could be needed to help the child to achieve them. If they have achieved them, then the discussion should be around next steps and setting new outcomes. From Year 9, the focus on setting outcomes should begin to revolve around preparing for adulthood. This means that there should be discussions around the young person's hopes and wishes for post-16 placement, so the annual review could include inviting college or other future providers. There may also be considerations for post-19 planning. A plan can remain in place up to the age of 25, but only where the young person remains in education or training. It may also be appropriate to consider future arrangements, post-education, and consider whether a social care assessment for adult care is needed. The reality is that many providers do not consider future planning until too late, so we advise to start these conversations early. The review meeting could last around an hour. During the meeting, whoever is conducting the meeting, such as the local authority or the school, must identify any changes needed to sections B and F, whether the outcomes in section E have been achieved. Any recommendations for new outcomes should be considered with the parents and/or young person, along with any actions taken by the setting. These recommendations should be submitted to the local authority where they are conducting the meeting, along with their report of the meeting, and must include any difference of opinion between the school or other institutions' recommendations and those of others attending the meeting, including parents and young people. Once a child or young person has an EHC plan, the local authority must ensure the support set out in the plan is made for them. Normally, the local authority will do this by providing the necessary funding to your child's school or college in order for them to deliver the educational support needed, and by arranging any external therapies or other provision that may be specified. However, during an annual review, a personal budget can also be requested. The purpose of a personal budget is to allow a parent to arrange provision that is specified in section F of the EHC plan independently. It is not a pot of money for extras like home tuition, after-school activities, additional therapies, or anything else that is not specified in section F. The local authority do not have to agree, but where requested, must scope out a budget. Information on personal budgets is available on the local authority local offer pages of their website. After the review meeting, the local authority must send a report of the meeting to everyone who was invited within 2 weeks. In practice, the school or setting generally undertake to carry out this function. The local authority then reviews the EHC plan in light of the report and the recommendations made. They decide whether to amend the plan to maintain the current wording, i.e. not change the plan, or to cease the plan, and must write to parents and young people with that decision within 4 weeks of the review meeting, along with any proposed amendments to the plan. The final revised plan must then be issued within 12 weeks of the review meeting. They must also inform you of your right to appeal through the Special Educational Needs and Disabilities first-tier tribunal if you do not agree with the decision made. Parents can discuss any concerns or proposed changes with their SEN officer, but Sending You can also provide you with further information, advice and support about mediation and the tribunal process. We hope you have found this session useful, but for further information, you may wish to seek out our website resources where you can find further information on preparing for an annual review, our annual review toolkit, and the annual review timeline. Thank you for watching.